It's actually quite cold this morning. Big jumpers are on their way out for definite. Could still grow a few things at this time of year with intention of overwintering them. But obviously you need plants that are very cold hardy. We're just keeping an eye on a couple of things we've got at the moment. That's the little gem lettuce. It's holding its own, but it's not growing very fast at all. And then that is the Chinese cabbage. They've all got true leaves now. There's a couple in there that's been munched, but we did expect that. But they are still trying, that's all that matters at this time of year. Same as this lamb's lettuce. It's put on a little bit more growth now. Don't expect things to grow like lightning at this time of year, but as long as they're coping and they're putting a little bit of growth on each week, everything's fine. We ain't got to harshest temperatures yet, although they keep saying on news that they're on way. Frost is your only problem with a lot of plants, but we can always compensate for that by adding a bit of bubble wrap or some fleece. At the moment we're perfectly fine. It's not very warm, but it's still quite mild for November. We ain't got to worry about as carrots or as garlic or as onions. They're all doing perfectly well. But something else we can start off during autumn is sweet peas. We get that amazing display of colour all the way through early spring and into summer. And they're very hardy plants as well. They can stand temperatures down to -5. If it gets any colder than that, or if you just want to border on caution, you can just cover them with a little bit of fleece just to give them a bit of extra protection. But they don't need any heat, just a little protection from really harsh frosts. So if you like sweet peas, autumn is a brilliant time to start them off, any time between October and November. And since we're just coming up on tail end of November, we've still got time to start some. And we can grow them into half decent sized plants, and we can plant them outside and then forget about them, apart from that little bit of frost protection. And what they'll do is they'll grow really slowly, while at the same time they'll be putting down a very strong root system all over winter, and then they'll just burst into life come spring. So if you like sweet peas and a nice display of colour in your garden, it's definitely something worth thinking about. And this morning Anne Trotter did ask me whether it's okay that her sweet peas seem to be growing really quickly. That's because it's probably a little bit milder than normal, but it doesn't hurt for them to put on some decent size. But if you think they're getting too leggy, the best thing to do with those is to just pinch the tops out. It won't stop it growing altogether, but pinching the tops out will slow it right down, and then it will become a bushier plant at the same time. The idea is to get established plants in autumn so they can overwinter, where they'll not be growing much at all. That'll happen come early spring next year. Best way to grow your sweet peas is from save seeds. Once those pods turn brown and dry up, we go around and we pick them all off, and then we take out the seeds, and we got quite a lot this year. That is from a few plants we had along the fence at the other side of the garden. Lots and lots of seeds. So we're going to get some of those going now. And obviously you've seen sweet pea seeds before. A really good size, so nothing fiddly about it. You just need to decide how many plants you want and get them going. They'll germinate in this kind of temperature. 15 degrees or more is a lot better, so if you want to get them going quicker, then just put them into your trays and then take them indoors until they've germinated, which is something I might do because I have got a spare windowsill they can sit on and they're not going to be in way. We can get those plants going as quick as possible then. And when you're growing sweet peas, people soak seeds because they do have quite an hard shell, and that's something I've done in the past, but you don't have to soak them if you don't want to. All it's going to do is speed up that germination process. So I'm not soaking the seeds this year. And then you get the problem of the root systems on sweet peas. They grow quite quickly, and that's why people use root trainers, which are just basic cells to put your seeds in, but they're quite a bit deeper than normal, and that gives that plant time to get a nice root system while putting on top growth at the same time. And that's why people who don't want to buy root trainers, like me, because they're just a little bit of extra expense, will take a regular tray like these and they'll put toilet rolls in them because then that gives you the height that you want. But I've also done it without even bothering doing that. They will grow and they'll start to hang down sides of your tray because they get tall quite quick. But then we're going to move them on into another container, because at the moment we're concentrating on container growing more than anything, because we can better protect plants that way. We can move them anywhere we want after harsh winds, rains and frosts to come. So basically I'm just going to grow them in one of these. This had flowers in it and we always save trays so we can recycle them. This will hold 20 individual plants. It's not taking up a lot of space, which is the whole point of container gardening, and it's not going to look unsightly just to take indoors for a few days. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to start off some autumn winter sweet peas using those home saved seeds. So all we need is just a little bit of compost and we're on his way. I've sieved this compost as well just to get rid of any big lumps of wood that you find. And it's just normal everyday multi-purpose compost. I never buy any type of special compost. So I've just filled that up and I'm using that jar to compress it down, because it just so happens that these old salmon paste jars that we save for putting seeds in fits exactly into these cells, so we can just use that to push it all down in one go. The job this morning just gets easier, and we want to make sure we get plenty of compost in there to allow for better root growth. Just like that, it's done. So I'm just going to top that off and then we'll get some seeds in. There's a lot of people seem quite excited about this pending house move, although I did say it's not happening anytime soon. It's going to be sometime next year, so we're still carrying on growing things while we can. But because of current situation, I am going to be growing everything in containers. We're not putting anything outside in raised beds for autumn and winter this year. So that's them topped off and that's done. And it's good to see that a lot of people are really interested in container gardening, because we've done a container garden for the last couple of years and it's worked so well. And that space was only 12 foot by 12 foot. And it was amazing just how much produce we got from that. So that's why we're moving back towards it. And if we need to grow anything that takes up a lot more space, like cabbages, cauliflowers, potatoes, we'll try and find an allotment that we can do that on. But for the minute, we're concentrating on container stuff. So let's get some seeds in. So, home seeds, they're not costing us anything. And what I tend to do is I'll put 3 or 4 seeds in each cell so we can grow a little bunch of sweet peas together. It's going to make that display more dense once you come to planting out. And these seeds haven't cost anything, so why not? So all I need to do is just make indentations in these cells. I'm just doing them a couple of centimetres deep. We don't want to go too deep. And then we'll give this a really good soaking and get them seeds on the way. So as easy as that, and then 3 or 4 seeds in each cell. You can just do them as single plants if you want, but if you want a bushier display, you're better off putting 3 or 4 in. That also covers you in case any of these seeds don't germinate. At least you know you're definitely going to get something from each one. So that's most of those done, and we've still got loads and loads of seeds left. Plus I actually saved 2 jars this year. And I'll just pop some compost over the top of that. Make sure everything's covered. So that's all them prepared. I'm going to give them a really good soaking. I'm going to pop them in a tray so I can keep them bottom watered for now. And then we'll take them indoors. We can leave them in greenhouse, no problem at all. But I've got a little bit of space inside where it is a bit warmer. So if I can accommodate them, then that's what I'll do. And we'll get these sweet peas underway. So if you've not already got your sweet peas growing, you've still got time to sow some seeds. But I would advise doing the 4 seeds per cell and get a nice bunch growing. And then in that very small area, using a small amount of compost, you've got 20 sets of plants on way 3 plants per plug. So you're going to have plenty there for a big display of colour come early spring. And obviously these are going to grow quite quickly once they're germinated. So what we'll be doing is moving them on into bigger pots and bigger pots as we go, until we decide exactly where we want to put them. Obviously my situation's a little different at the moment because we don't know when we're going to be moving. So I'll probably do a display of container sweet peas and see how they turn out. Anyway, thank you so much for being part of the channel. I really do appreciate it. And thank you very much to everybody who said they're looking forward to seeing what we're going to be doing next year. And we can't wait to get going once again with a new container garden. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you want to see what else we're going to be doing between now and next year, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you next time. Take care.